Hello everyone, I'm Bad Pan, a bad who still dances at 3 a.m. Welcome back to part 2 of our mini-series where we recreate the food making system from Fierce to Fathom in Unity. In this part, we're diving into how to pick up each ingredient and add it into an inventory system, getting everything ready to drop into the pan later. As always, this video is part of both the Unity Tips and Tricks playlist and the Fierce to Fathom Mechanics in Unity series. I also released my own retro horror game that shares some creepy DNA with Fierce to Fathom. If that sounds like your vibe, there's a link to Fractured Psyche in the description. And all the files used or created in this video are available on my GitHub, links down there too. With all that being said, let's put on the mask and go cooking. So what we need now, as I said in the previous video, what we covered was we created this. We gave each object, different colliders so we can interact with them. That's what we set up in the previous video. In this video, we're gonna create the interaction system. We're gonna create this one appearing and disappearing when we look at the pan. We also will create a very simple inventory system so we can put our objects into. So we actually know that we have these objects inside our pocket or something. So let's create a new folder. I'm just gonna call it scripts. As I said in the intro, the scripts that I'm going to create in here will be also linked in my GitHub. You can download it with a link in the description. So I'm just going to create a new C# script. I'm just going to call it Fierce to Fathom Make Food Interaction System. Double click to open it up. As you guys know, I'm just going to access these text files. So to actually access a text file, you need a reference up here saying Unity using Unity engine.ui. And in here, let me just show you first. I'm going to put it here and put this one here so you guys know what we need. We need a reference to this whole canvas pack. So I'm just gonna say public game object. I made it public so I can give it from the editor. Public game object, I'm just gonna call it whole canvas pack underline GO, which stands for game object. And then I'm gonna say I need a reference to pepper and salt. So I'm just gonna say public game object pepper underline GO, public game object salt underline GO. We also need a reference to our eggs, and we have 2 eggs, and when we take the first one, we activate this one first, then we deactivate this one. So we need a reference to each one of them individually. So we're just gonna put them inside an array. An array is something that you can put, for example, let me just show you game object. Just gonna put this one here to make it an array. I'm just gonna call it eggs underline GO, and when you put it here, it makes it possible so you can put multiple objects with the same type in one actual object. So I'm just going to put multiple eggs inside one game object. Let me just show you with examples. So I'm just going to go to my FPS controller. No, I'm just going to go to my camera, and I'm going to give my script to my camera, and as you see, it opens something like this. You can give, for example, 2, and it opens 2 spaces here that you can put egg number 1 and egg number 2. You can access it by just saying XGO, for example, house number 0 dot do something, and house number 0 is this, element 0, and house number 1 is this, for example, element 1. I did this instead of saying, for example, public game object egg 1 and egg 2. I just put it inside an array. We also need a reference, an array for these two, so we can activate and deactivate them. So we're just gonna say public game object. Again, I'm gonna make it an array, broken eggs underline GO. As simple as that. So I think we gave all the references we needed. Let's go ahead and create a very simple interaction system. For the interaction system, as I did in nearly all my videos that I'm creating recently, we need a boolean, private boolean. I'm just gonna call it can interact, which is true by default. So we can actually check if we can interact or not. So we go inside void update. We say if can interact is equal to true. We go ahead and interact. To interact with something, you need to first look at it. So to look at it and check if we actually looked at something, we're just gonna shoot an invisible thing called ray. I'm just gonna call it ray, which is equal to camera.main, the main camera, viewport point to ray, and I'm just gonna put it at the center of the screen. So new vector 3, 0.5, f, 0.5 f, and 0. And the thing it hits is called raycast hit. And I'm gonna call it hit. It is the thing it looks at. For example, if you look at the salt, the hit is gonna be equal to the salt. And we're just gonna say if physics that raycast. So we give it the ray, and out hit, we give it the hit, and I'm just gonna give it a distance. So anything in a distance of 5f is gonna be like, interactable, or like 3 will be interactable. And inside here, it checks if it actually hits something. If it did, it goes inside here, and then we're gonna say if the thing we hit has a tag of, for example, salt. We need to go ahead and give each object that we created different tags. So frying pan, go to the object that has a box collider. This one has a box collider. I'm gonna go to his tag section. I'm gonna add a tag. Click on this plus. I'm just gonna call it pan. and save it. Be careful, it is not given yet. You gotta select it again and go to this tag section and again click on this tab, and now it has a tag of pan. Go to your egg pack, not the individual eggs. Go to the pack that has the whole box collider on it. Again, go to this tag, add a tag of eggs, and again go to your egg pack and just give it the eggs, and do one for pepper and one for salt. So add tag plus pepper and also add salt here. So just give them individually. This one has a tag, so pepper. Select this one, give this one a salt. Now each object that we can interact with has a tag. So we go inside the scripts and we check which one of them we interacted with. So we're just gonna say if hit the thing we hit, for example the thing we looked at, dot collider dot compare tag. So we're gonna check if the thing we looked at has a tag of pan. So if we looked at the pan, we go ahead and do some stuff. Then we say else if hit dot collider dot compare tag. So else if the thing we looked at has a tag of eggs, we do some stuff. Then we say else if hit dot collider compare tag if it has a tag of salt, or we can just copy it and paste it down here, and if it has a tag of pepper. One thing you have to keep in mind is the capital and the small versions of the letters, so be careful. If it is capital P, your tag should also be a capital T, which in this case it is, and that is it. So if you look at the pan object, as I said, we're gonna activate this whole canvas pack game object. So we're just gonna say whole canvas pack game object dot set active true. Yeah, that is it. That is how it does. But one thing to keep in mind to make your game more optimized, because each time you're looking at your pan, and since it is in void update, it is running each frame. So in each frame, it's gonna come here and it's gonna activate this. But in Unity, since it is activated once, it's not gonna activate it again. But it comes in here and checks it again and does the same. It tries to activate it. So to make it more optimized, you first check if it is actually deactivated. If it is deactivated, you just activate it. So we're just gonna say if whole canvas pack go dot active self equal to false. So if it is deactivated, we go ahead, we cut it and put it in here. So if it is deactivated, we go ahead and activate it. This is an optimized way to do it. So what if we don't want to activate it and we look at anything else? Since it is activated, I want to deactivate it when I look at something else. So what if we look at anything other than the things set above? We're just gonna say else, and it comes here. So I want to deactivate this thing when I look at anything other than the pan. So I'm just gonna put it inside this one, this one, this one, and this one. Also, when I look at nothing else. So if this hit actually doesn't hit, hit anything. So if our array doesn't hit anything, come down here. It says if it hits something, I'm just gonna say else. So it means we are not looking at anything at the moment. So for example, we're looking at the sky or something. So in this case, we're gonna again make this one this time false. Whole canvas pack game object the selective false. To make it more optimized again, this time we're gonna say if whole canvas pack go.active self is equal to true. We only do it when it is true. Cut it and put it here. And we can just copy it and put it anywhere in any condition we don't want it to activate. So it is here, 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 and here. When we look at the pan, we activate that whole canvas pack, and when we look at anything else, we just deactivate it. We can go ahead and check this part out. As you know, we're gonna select our camera. We gave the script to our camera. It needs a whole canvas pack. So go to your frying pan, give it the canvas, drag and drop it here. We can click on the circle to find it. Pepper game object. This is the pepper game object. This is the salt game object. Eggs game object 1 and 2. Egg 1. This is egg 1. This is egg 2. And we have broken eggs. I'm gonna give this one 2 as well. So I'm gonna go to my script. I'm gonna give this one 1 and give this one to the 2. And now every value has been given. By default, our canvas is deactivated. We can go ahead and check it out. So you see, when I look at it, it gets activated. I look anywhere else, it gets deactivated. Let's create the inventory system to check if we look at the pepper, for example, when we press left mouse key or anything, we can go ahead and take it. There I'm gonna create a new C# script. I'm gonna call it Fierce to Fathom. Make food inventory. Double click to open it up. We don't need reference to void start and update in here. This is a place to hold our stuff. So what we have is public boolean have salt, which is equal to false by default because we don't have it. Another public boolean have pepper, which is false. So for the eggs, I'm not gonna make it a boolean. I'm just gonna make it public integer number of eggs is equal to 0 by default. So when it is 0, we have no eggs, and other than 0, we have eggs. So we can calculate how much eggs do we have. These are the only 3 things we need: salt, pepper, and eggs. We have it here. We need a reference to it inside our inventory system, so we can come down here and create a public first to Fathom make food inventory script reference. I'm gonna call it inventory script. You can name it whatever you want, but you need a reference to it in here so we can access the things inside this inventory system inside our interaction system. We don't need void start at the moment. I'm just gonna remove it. We come here, so we look at the eggs, and for example, when we press left mouse, we go ahead and take the eggs and change the value inside this number of eggs. So we're just gonna say if input.get mouse button down, mouse button 0. So we're just gonna say if we press the left mouse key and we're looking at the eggs, we go ahead and take the eggs. The function to take the eggs, I'm not gonna put it inside here. I'm gonna put it inside a different void because I don't want to make it confusing. So I'm just gonna close my void update. I'm gonna go down a void my update. I'm gonna create a private void. I'm gonna call it take eggs. For example, say take eggs. And to run this function, I go here, and when I'm looking at the eggs and I press the left mouse key, I just say take eggs void, and that's how you run it. You just call it here. I'm just going to make it take eggs void and just change this name to take egg voids as well, take eggs void as well. You go ahead and check if you have an egg in your inventory or if you don't have it. So if you have it, you take the second one, and if you don't have the second one, you don't take it, obviously. We're going to say if inventory script dot number of eggs is equal to 0. If you have no eggs, we go ahead and take one egg, and we say else if inventory script dot number of eggs is equal to 1. If we have 1, if we took 1, then we say else if inventory script that number of eggs equal to true. Number of taken eggs, for example, in this case. So if we didn't take any eggs, inventory script that number of eggs equal to 1. So we now have just taken one egg, and we say eggs game object house number 0 dot set active false. So it deactivates this one. So it looks like we just kind of taken this one, and we're just gonna say we can just copy it and paste it inside this one. And if we actually had one from before, we just make it 2, and this time we just make the eggs game object number 1 equal to empty. So we now taken everything in this case, and once we take every egg, I'll just have to deactivate this egg pack so we can no longer interact with it and come in here and check the function. So we need a reference to this egg pack game object. So we're just gonna come up here, we're just gonna say public game object egg pack underline go. You can name it whatever you want. And down here, when we take every eggs, we're just gonna say egg pack go dot set active false. We no longer interact with the egg pack to take the eggs because there are no eggs actually. Yeah, that is it. And when we look at the salt, we kind of gotta do the same thing. We gotta make a private void for the take salt. So private void take salt void. I'm gonna do them inside voids because these methods are actually cleaner. These look cleaner. Take pepper void, and we need also a function for private void place eggs void. So for the salt, take salt void, we're just gonna say inventory script that have salt equal to true. We put the salt in our inventory system, and we're just gonna say salt game object that set active false. So it looks like we have just taken the salt. And for the pepper is exactly the same thing. So inventory script that have pepper true, pepper game object that set active false. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to your salt, and you just gonna copy this one. When you press the left mouse, you go ahead and say take salt void, and you can just copy it again and put it inside pepper, and instead of saying take salt, you say take pepper void. So before going ahead and checking it out, go to your camera. It needs eggs pack game object. This is the egg pack, and in this is a reference to our first Fathom inventory system that we didn't give it any object. I'm just going to give the inventory system also to my camera. I can drag and drop it here, or click on the circle and find the object with the inventory system. So we can go ahead and check it out. So as you see, we take the salt, we take the pepper, we take both eggs, and yeah, that is it. Yeah, this video became a little bit long and a little bit maybe confusing for you guys. So I'm just gonna continue where we left off in the next part. So the next part is gonna be if we take the objects, we can only take one object at a time, and when we place it here and we activate these checkboxes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, a like would be amazing. You can subscribe to see more contents like this. You can tell me anything in the comment section below, any scenarios, any suggestions, any recommendations, anything you want to say. I would be very happy to answer it. Thank you so much for all your support. Hope all the very best for you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.